Hello, hello, hi, gigpreneur. What is going on? Welcome, welcome. Happy Monday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. My name is Sean Zamy, and I am your ex-corporate grinder. I used to be in a call center corporate environment for many, many years, putting in 12, 14, 16-hour days, 6 days a week, very often 7 days a week, until my pancreas shut down, quit on me, left me unemployable with nothing to fall back on. Now, I don't know if you've ever hit rock bottom like that, where your health and your income gets wiped out, but I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it, and it sucks. So I got redirected to this whole online space and this gig economy, and now I help folks like you, like me, to start a side gig online, and we grow it using social media. If that resonates with you, drop the word side gig in the comments. And I will get back with you after this live and be ready to have that conversation. You know what I mean? Let's go. So, which brings me to tonight's topic. Interesting one. You know, this whole follow up thing is a big deal, in our profession and in many sales professions. Um, they say fortune is in the follow up, which means it's pretty important, right? If you follow up, my mentor, Ray Higdon, says you can suck at sales, but be great at follow up and still do really well. So that's kind of neat. Sumir, how are you? Namaste, namaste. All the way from India. I love it. It's great to see you, man, on Facebook. So, yeah, my mentor says you can suck in sales, but be great in, excuse me, in follow up, and you'll still make a pretty decent amount of money. So, with that being said, there's one thing that I've noticed and I come across a lot. Now, this goes to all the people that are prospects, right? Fortune is in the follow up. Yes, I mentioned that. Yes, fortune is definitely in the follow up. So, um, I follow up with a lot of prospects, right? And I have a system that I keep track of who I am with, I'm how far I am, and all that stuff with that individual. But I have a system on piece of paper and pen, real simple, that I follow up with. Now, another, let me put a pause right there. Also, people who are on your team, there are going to be Zooms, there are going to be calls, there are going to be trainings that are going to be happening every week, sometimes two, three times a week, right? And as someone who's leading the team, you want to let everyone know, right, of these situations, because not everyone is going to be organized enough to put these in their calendars and treat it like a business. So you, as a leader, you want to remind folks that, hey, there's a Zoom training, there's a uh, opportunity Zoom, or this Zoom, or that call, or this live, right? Now, here's some of the things that you'll hear, right? And if you're one of these people who have said this ever, well, maybe you should relook at things, right? And this, what I'm going to share with you, is how to um, kind of relieve yourself from stress as leading a team or prospecting, right? So you're going to talk to people, you're going to prospect, and then you're going to go to follow up with them. You also have people on your team who are hungry, want to do it, yay. And you want to let them know of the Zooms and whatnot. All right. And here's some of the things you will hear. You'll hear, oh, you know what? I can't tonight. Oh, you know what? I have a headache. Oh, my car just died on me, and I'm just not in a good mood. You'll hear, I've had a very long day. I'm exhausted. You'll hear, is there going to be a replay? You'll hear all kinds of things, right? Now, not too long ago, I used to give into these things a lot. And I used to pay more attention than I should. So lately, here's what I share. Um, and this comes from the heart, and I hope that if you're going to put this into practice, you also make sure that it comes from your heart, right? Not just as something to throw at somebody. So if somebody gives me all this stuff like, oh, you know what, I can't do it tonight, or this or that, or well, whatever it may be, here's what I'll say. I understand. I understand. Here's a couple of reasons why. Okay. Now, let me be very clear. One is that when you say I understand, that doesn't mean you agree. Now, maybe you don't agree to that situation, but you understand them, right? You don't agree because maybe in that situation, you would handle it differently, or you'd still be on the Zoom, right? Or you'd be on the call, or you'd be whatever, right? So maybe you don't agree because you'd handle it in a different way. And two is that when you say I understand, you gotta be very conscious of this. And I kind of learned this the hard way, and it took me a while, right? So one of the things is that they don't need to explain to you. You're not asking for an explanation. You didn't say there's a Zoom tonight and why can't you attend? That's not what you said. You said there's a Zoom tonight. Now, when they come back with a list of excuses or reasons or whatever they may be, you can sit there and dissect them all, and you can sit there and argue with them, and you can say, "Hey, you still should." Ooh, ooh, ooh. But I gotta tell you, it's not that effective. Not only it's not that effective, it's probably going to stress you out, as it used to stress me out a lot, right? So, hey, somebody can't make it, you got to understand. You just move on. You just spend your attention and time with those people that can and will. See, here's um, here's a couple of thoughts on that. Let me go a little deeper. I didn't think I want to, but I'll go a little deeper on this. Check this out. So, if somebody says, I can't make it, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, that's okay. You understand. Doesn't mean you agree, but you understand. And here's the reason why you understand. You understand because, well, one, you don't need an explanation, right? You didn't ask for one. Two is that, listen, it's their business, right? It's theirs, not yours. You're handling your business. You're prospecting, you're following up, you're reaching out to people, you're putting out good content, right? You're letting people know what you do, how you do, right? So you're putting out this content, you're doing your business, right? So if somebody else says, I have a headache, well, maybe you run it in your head, you're like, I have had headaches before, where I've still showed up and did something for the business, right? So, hey, that's not your place to jump in and criticize somebody and put them down in any shape or form, right? The last thing you want to do is discourage somebody from doing things. I gotta tell you, I learned this the hard way, and like I said, it took me a while. It was a, it took me a while to get this because I I used to say, "Oh, you gotta come in, come on, this is important," and sometimes all that does nothing but discourage. And here you are doing that because your intentions are what? To encourage them, to push them, but it's working the opposite. So sometimes understanding will come in a lot more handy than pushing somebody and just roar in their face. Sometimes people don't really appreciate that. Now, there have been times where I have said that. I'm guilty of saying, I have a headache, I don't have time, and to me, to myself, that was just the justifiable, right? To myself. So it's kind of important to keep that in mind. It may be justifiable to them, not to you, but it may be very justifiable to them. And sometimes, most of the time, it's best for you to just say, I understand. Maybe next time, that kind of a thing. Or, hey, I'm just trying to let the team know what's going on. I like to keep everybody informed, right? So, with that, hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. I appreciate you. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Thank you for the follow. I'll be sure to follow you back. And yeah, if you feel like you know somebody who would get value from this, like you have, tag them. Let's go already. Share. Come on. Tag them, share it with them. And if you're just following me, if this is your first time, hopefully it won't be your last time. And you can follow me on all platforms. I actually recommend it if you follow me on more than one. But Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Threads. And I go with Side Gig Sean. With that, I am Sean Azimi. I'm your ex corporate grinder. I used to work in a corporate environment, 12, 14, 16-hour days, 6 days a week, often 7 days a week, until my pancreas shut down, quit on me, left me unemployable with nothing to fall back on. That stung. And so I got redirected to this whole online space, this whole gig economy, if you would. And I help folks like you, like me, to start something. Let's go. To start something online, grow it using social media. So if that resonates with you, you've been thinking about starting a little something, something on the side, make some extra money. It's the holidays. Why reach in your pocket to your credit cards? Why not make a little extra money? Have another avenue for tax write-off so you can keep more of your money. If that's you and you like the idea of it being flexible, meaning you can work around it, right? Then drop the word side gig in the comments and I'll get back with you after this live. And let's be ready to have that conversation. So, with that, I am signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.